Hey, what's going on, everybody? Coach Arturo here, back with another video. And today's topic of today's video is going to be like no other topic that I've ever talked about. Today's topic is something that I'm super passionate about. However, I haven't necessarily been as public as I like to be. But to cut to the chase, today's topic I'm going to be talking to you guys about is about culture. More so cultural norms. And the reason why I believe it is important for you to break cultural norms if it does not align with who you are, who you intend to be, and how you intend to live your lifestyle, right? So my purpose for this video is for me to share what cultural norms are, give a little bit of background about me and my culture, where I come from, but also to give you guys an example of how I have personally broken a cultural norm in my lifestyle, in my life, right? So first and foremost, what is a cultural norm, right? A cultural norm is basically certain rules, expectations, standards that people tend to have for you, or you may have for yourself, because of your background, because of your culture, right? And majority of the time, the people that tend to have these expectations for you is going to be your friends, your family, people in the same culture as you, or even just society in general, that tend to associate you and your culture. And because you're Hispanic, for example, in my case, you need to be a certain way, right? So a little bit of background about myself. I am Latino. You know, my dad's side of the family was all born and raised in Mexico. Dad was born in Mexico. Mom was born here in America. However, her parents were born in Mexico, and she was very well brought up with a very strong traditional Hispanic background. And that's how she basically raised me and my sisters, right? So if you know anything about Hispanics, if you know anything about Latinos, if you guys are Latinos, you know that we tend to have some very strong, powerful cultural norms, right? A few examples are, we must be hardworking. And I agree with that. You know, another example is our food is absolutely delicious, right? Another social norm tends to be that if your parents came here to America to have a better future for you, you need to, for example, go to school, get a degree, and set yourself up for a much better life than your parents have had, right? And that's basically leads to the point that I want to make, right? How I have broken my social norm is that we tend to have expectations, right? My family tend to have an expectation for myself to have an old traditional way of getting knowledge, right? And that was through school. That was through high school, then going to college. After that is getting a degree and pursuing a profession that required traditional knowledge and traditional education, right? However, I realized that I was going in that path. I went to high school, graduated from high school. I went to college. I did my thing in college. I had an awesome experience in college, met a lot of people. I was always spot on, really into my studies. I was A and B student, a couple C's here and there, but I was very much so invested in school. But the whole point that I went to school was for me to find a career, was for me to find a path that I genuinely loved. I always wanted to feel that whenever I went to work, it didn't necessarily feel like work. Another thing, I wanted to make a lot of money, and I wanted to have unlimited potential, right? I didn't want any salary cap, for example. I didn't want to be stuck in one spot all day, every day, and have this routine that just I honestly would just get bored of, and I couldn't necessarily continue to grow, right? And that is exactly the reason why I decided to break that cultural norm and go about more so and choose a path of specialized knowledge. And what do I mean by that? Specialized knowledge, what I mean by this is this: picking certain mentors, picking a certain craft, picking a certain expertise that I genuinely want to learn, and going through there directly to the source, right? For example, me and my training, right? I am no longer going to college. I am no longer continuing my education through college, through Mount SAC, where I got my personal training certificate. However, I have subscriptions, I have mentorships from so many other elite trainers that are in a whole different caliber, that are teaching me everything I need to know about my craft, teaching me everything that I need to know about health, about fitness, that have had numerous of years of experience in this exact craft. And I am learning directly from that source, not necessarily from a textbook, right? Another example is, sales training, right? Or just communication. I am currently getting mentorship. I'm currently studying people that I admire, that have certain qualities, that have certain character traits that I admire, and learning directly from them. Again, not necessarily the old traditional way of school and textbook, but more so directly from the source, right? So guys, this is just one of the reasons that I have broken my cultural norm. It was definitely not an easy thing, especially to talk to my family, let them know what I'm doing, because they tend to have certain expectations, certain standards that they have for ourselves that they don't necessarily agree with. And that's completely okay, right? Because I came to a conclusion, and this is the same conversation that I had with my mother. The moment I told her, hey, you know what, Mom, I'm choosing this path versus the college path, it was not an easy conversation to have. It was not easy for her to understand. But one thing she told me was her dream was for me to always graduate from college, was for me to always get a degree and have a profession of security, to have a profession that basically had a awesome title and she wanted to be proud of, right? But the moment she told me that was the moment I realized that she had certain expectations for myself. And unfortunately for her, this is my life, and it's the same conversation that I had with her. That is her dream. That is her goals for me. But this is my life that we're talking about right now. This is my future that we're talking about right now. So I got to choose a path that is best for myself, and the path that I know that I'm going to live my life to the fullest, that I'm going to reach my full potential. So that's just one of the ways that I have broken my cultural norms. It was not an easy thing to do, but at the end of the day, you guys, going that route did not align with who I wanted to be. It did not align with what I wanted to get out of this life. And the moment that I found this whole different path, I immediately knew that this is the route that I wanted to take. And don't get me wrong, college is great. College may not be for everyone, but it is for some people. And I respect that. But the whole point of me going to college was to find a career, again, that I love, that I didn't feel like I had to work a day in my life, that had no cap. I wanted to reach an unlimited potential, and I found everything that I wanted through specialized knowledge, through being a part of a business startup, through entrepreneurship, through intrapreneurship. And that wasn't necessarily the same route that my cultural norm had for myself. So that was the moment that I knew that, I had to definitely break it off. It wasn't who I was. It wasn't who I am. It's not what I want to be with my life. And unfortunately, it's what I had to do for myself, for my future family, and for my life. Right, guys? So that's just a quick little recap of how I have broken this cultural norm of mine. There's going to be tons of other videos that I'm going to be sharing with you guys about how I have broken cultural norms. But today was more so a little introduction, my first video to this cultural norms. Super excited to talk about this topic because, again, it's something that I'm super passionate about, and I want to continue to share my experiences with you guys, because I don't think it's cool that just because we have social, cultural norms, certain expectations for ourselves, that we have to continue living that certain way. Right, guys? It's our life. It's our future. So we can go ahead and make our lives the way we want it to be. All right, guys. So I hope you guys like this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Like I said, much more content coming soon. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.